Hello React Native developers, I hope you are well. William here, recording from beautiful Zurich, Switzerland. In the last video, we animated Bézier curves and we tried to find good parameters for curves. In this video, we're going to do things a bit differently. The Cuberto agency, who are masters at Bézier curves animation, they brought us the liquid swipe example, has posted this beautiful example on Twitter. And in this example, the parameters of our Bézier curves seem to be quite obvious. Let's have a look. How would we build such an example in React Native? Well, we have a scroll view, snap to interval, which is the width of our screen, and there is the animation of the background shape. So we're going to draw a circle as being the concatenation of Bézier curves. And then there are a couple of positions we need to hit. So here I have the example that we can run frame by frame. So we have this position here we need to hit. And then there is this position here. And so if I go in Figma, I'm going to draw a circle here. So I have my circle. And if I press enter, you see now I have my circle as the concatenation of Bézier curves. So we have the points here and we have the control points, which we can move here. So two positions we need to hit. The first one, we're going to slide this point and the associated control points along the x-axis like this. And so that is going to give us this position here. That's the first position. And for the second one, we're going to do the same thing with the opposite point in the opposite direction towards the center, like this. So here we have it in the center. And that corresponds to this position. Now, how do we build a circle using Bézier curves? I don't know. Actually, here we have the positions, the destination points of our curves. They seem to be quite obvious. But you see, and the control points are on the same axis than the points. But the distance between the control point and the point doesn't seem to be obvious. At least I cannot find a good geometrical relationship on how to find this distance. Luckily, I found the answer on Google. And here below, so we have 4 curves. And for each curve, we have all the parameters. This assumes we need to do, so this assumes a circle of radius 1, and this would be the distance between the destination point and the control point. And in fact, I copy-pasted here this data we are gonna need to use. And how do we get to this result? I haven't read the article yet. So I'm not sure actually, but so we're gonna use this data here, and then there is some color interpolation, and luckily we're gonna do everything with Reanimated 2. And since the alpha version 6 release, we can finally do color interpolations with Reanimated 2. Speaking of Reanimated 2, if you are interested to learn the fundamentals of gestures and animations in React Native, I recommend that you check out my online course at startreactnative.dev. My goal with this course is to provide you with all the tools and knowledge necessary in order to build incredible user experiences that will run at 60 FPS even on low-end devices. There are the Reanimated 1 lessons as well as the Reanimated 2 lessons, and I am updating the Reanimated 2 course on a monthly basis. So if you're interested, I hope that you will check it out at startreactnative.dev. Now let's jump into VS Code. So we have a component here, and I think our root component is going to be an animated scroll view. And so we have our data here with the slides, so the color, the picture in the foreground, the aspect ratio, so we can display the picture nicely. So we're gonna have an animated scroll view, and as children, we're simply gonna have the slides. So I'm going to do slides map. So we have a slide index, and we're going to create a slide component. We pass slide as parameter, key is index. And we're also going to need the index to interpolate the progress of the animation. So let me put some parentheses here. Animated from React Native Reanimated here. The slide component we're going to create. Oops. And we're going to create slide.txt. We're going to create a new component. So we have the slide, which is picture, aspect ratio, and color. And an index. So we have a slide index from slide props. Now we need to create a root container, and then we're going to have our SVG with the path we want to show. So let's create the container. So flex 1. Actually, the width here we probably need to set because of the scroll view. And we're going to do justify content, center, align items, center. And width we get from dimensions. Okay. So now the size of our SVG, for now I'm going to take width. We can change that later. And this is the points we need to create. So I'm going to paste it into slide. And so our SVG width is size, height is size, and the view box. So since we assume a radius of 1, we need to have a diameter of 2. So width 2, height is 2. So that's for SVG, which we import here. I'm going to import path as well. And so we can create, I guess, our path based on these points here. So this should give us a nice circle. So let's try. So I'm gonna call, for instance, this one, I'm gonna call it P00. So the first 0 is for the identifier of the point. So it's 0.0. It's curve, sorry, the identifier of the curve. So it's curve 0 and 0.0 of the curve. And it's going to be 0, 1 vector, but we need to convert it to the Canva coordinate system. So the formula, this result we get is a Cartesian coordinate system. The center of the circle is at 0, 0, but in the React Native coordinate system, the Canva coordinate system, here actually the center is at 1, 1. So we need to convert. And Redash provides us with the function to do that. So we're going to do a function called vector. So we're going to get x, y, and we're going to do Cartesian to Canva of xy. Oops. Xy, and the center is at 1, 1. So center x1, y1. So we're going to use it from redash. So that gives us P00. Let's do it for all of our points. All right, and the value for C, we have it here. Up, so we can write C, which is a distance between the point, destination point and control point. For a radius of 1 is 0.55. So now we can build our circle just to test. So I'm going to do fill. Actually, we can use slide.color for the fill. And so I'm going to do, I have a utility functions to build path. So I'm going to do path, create SVG path. And then we can do, first we're going to do move to path. And we're going to move to P00 x P00 y. And then we're going to do curve 2. So the first control point is going to be P01, second control point P02, destination point P03. And then D is serialize of path. Let's try just this one to see how it looks. P up. So we need couple of imports. Serialize. And so these utility functions are worklets, so we're going to be able to run them on the UI thread. And I will ship these utility functions part of redash. So curve 2. And the signature is actually C1, C2, and okay. So let's have a look. So container, we need our scroll view to be horizontal. Okay. And we can already do snap to interval at width and deceleration rate fast. Okay. So width from dimensions React Native. Okay. So let's continue. So now we do, so we have P3, you see P03 it equals to, of course, P10, P13 is equal to P20 because they join themselves, and here it's the same. So we can now draw, we're at P03, so we can draw P11, 12, 13. Yes, looks good. Now let's do it for the second curve, P21, P22, P23. Okay, and let's do it for the last one. P31, P32, P33. Perfect. So we have a circle and we're going to be able to animate this. So I'm going to move, since we're going to animate it, I'm going to move this into the component. And let's do actually already an animated props for this one. So I'm going to return animated props and I'm going to use animated props. I'm going to return the D props. And this becomes an animated path. So animated path is animated create animated component of path. Okay. Now I need to import use animated props, and I can pass it here as property. Animated props equals animated props. So here we don't animate yet, but let's do it. So first we need to know which points we need to animate, and let me try. So let's do position. So let's do, we need to animate these points that are on the left or the right. Let's try to find where are these points, in these curves. So I'm gonna draw 3 circles to try to represent the points. So radius 0, 1, fill, let's say red, and let's say CX is P31X and CY P31Y. Circle up. So this, that's one of the control point we want. So I'm gonna do it as green and make it a bit smaller. So this is definitely one of the points P31 is definitely one of the points we want to animate. Now let's look at P32. P32, no, we are not interested in P32. So maybe P23. P23. Yes, that's the one we want. So I'm gonna make it bigger because this one is a destination point. So we can, and so I guess this one should be P21. Let's see. No. P32. No. So P30. P32. Oh my gosh, P21. No. P22. Okay. So these P31, P22, P23 are the points we need to animate. So we need an animation value. So we're gonna create here one for the x-axis. So use shared value 0, and we're gonna create a scroll handler, which we did in our last video. No, not the last video. What was it? The fluid? No. Liquid swipe. Jelly scroll. So that's what we want here. So I'm gonna import, use shared value. Here we don't need context. We don't need on drag and on scroll. So we have scroll handler, which I guess on scroll equals scroll. use animated scroll handler. And I'm simply going to assign to x.value the value. We can pass it as parameter. To slide. So we have x is animated shared value of number. And so we're going to calculate the progress. So we're going to do is going to be x minus index times width. So we want to remove, right? If it's at index 0, you want to remove 0. If it's index 1, we want to remove width, and so on and so forth. And we want, instead of going from minus width to width, we want to use minus 1, 1. So I'm going to divide by width. And that should give us progress value that goes from minus 1 to 1. But let me check quickly by debugging it. So if index equals, let's say 1, console log progress, just to see if the progress value returns the value we expect. So let me run this. Minus 1. So here we're at position 0. That's good. No, it doesn't seem to. Haha, I know why. Because we need. What do we need here? Throttle event to 16. So maybe here it works. So we go to 1 and oops, and minus 1. Perfect. So that's good. So now we can interpolate. So we go from oops. So here we are at 1, and at 1 the X position of this freeze point is in the center of the canvas, and the center of the canvas is 1, right? It's a canvas, the top left corner is at 0, 0, the bottom right corner is at 2, 2. So center is at 1, 1, and at 0, we are at X is at position 0 in Canva coordinate system. And these are the 3 points we need to do it on. So let's do it for P31. P31. Y doesn't move. We only slide along the x-axis. So X, we interpolate. Progress, input range goes. I forgot already. This is, I guess. Let me check. -1, 0. -1, 0. So -1, 0, and output range. At -1 we are at 1, and at 0 we are at 0. I think that's it. And okay. Now let's do the same for P22. And P23. Okay. So that kind of looks good, right? We can potentially, I guess here, make it shorter, maybe. Minus 0.3. Yeah, I like it. I think it's cool. Yeah, perfect. Now let's animate the other position. So we need to find the points which are on the right side. I'm really not sure. I have no idea where they are. So P3, I don't know. Let's try P. I'm just trying a random point to see where we are. No, it's not this one. P23. Oh, P0. Yes. Okay. So this one we got. So what are now the control points? What are... Let's try P01. Just randomly. No. P02. P02 is correct. And here, P00. But probably I would do P1. P10. No. P11. Yes. So these are the 3 points. So actually these, we're going to animate all to hit the position. We're going to animate all these points. All the points except these. So these are the points we need to not animate. So what we want to do is to create an offset where we move all the points to the right side except these 3, and it's gonna create an effect of pull. And so let me go. I think here it's when we go to 0, from 0 to 1. Perfect. So we're gonna create an offset. Can remove, I think, this one. And oops. So the offset is we interpolate on progress. And by the way, here we need extrapolate clamp, I think. Oh, let's see. So progress, we go from 0 to 1. At 0, the offset is 0. At 1, the offset is -2. We can change it maybe to -1. We want to translate everything except these 3 points to the left. So it can be -1, -2, or even more. And so we're going to need to add this offset to every point except these 3. Except P02, P11, P03. And I'm going to create a special function to add on the X. So I'm going to create add X. So it's faster. We get a vector. And we return X is Vx plus offset. And Y doesn't move. Y is dot V. So all points except these 3. I should just let me put it here. So here I can do plus offset. P01 we need to add. P02 we don't add. P03 we don't add. All points except these three. Okay. So let me do this quickly. All right, so let's have a look. That looks good, right? And this position also seems to work as expected. Maybe here also it's a bit too strong. Also the maybe -1. And here should I do 0.3 also? So let's see. So we have a pool and the shape here. In the middle, I can now maybe show the picture. So I'm going to do an absolute fill. And so justify content, center, align items, center. And we can put the image in the middle. Source is slide.picture. Style, so we're gonna do width is width, let's say half of width. And the height is the width times aspect ratio. Time slide dot aspect ratio. We need to import image. Oops. No, okay. I'm importing image from SVG, should be from React Native. Okay, that looks good. And now let's interpolate the color. And so here we're gonna get a color, 3 colors: the previous color, the current color, and the next color to interpolate. So we're gonna get a tuple of 3 strings. So here we're gonna have colors, and we're gonna animate also the fill. So we're gonna remove this one, and we're gonna return fill, and we're gonna use interpolate color from redash. We're gonna use progress, input range -1, 0, 1, and the output range are the colors. Now let's calculate. So interpolate color, we import from redash. And now let's create this tuple. So colors are colors. And so return colors. So is first, it means that index equals 0. Is last, index equals slides dot length -1. And now we have colors. So the color in the middle is slide dot color. If it's the first or is the last, is first, the color is also, the previous color is also slide dot color. If not, it's the color of the previous slide. So it's going to be slides index -1 of color. And we can do the same for the last. If it's the last, there is no next color. It's slide of color. If not, it's index +1. Here, I'm assigning index. You might have seen it before me. So yeah, now it nicely interpolates the color and the shape. So fun Bézier curve animation using Reanimated 2. Isn't that fun? Here it is. These Bézier curves are really fun to animate, especially with Reanimated 2 and Redash, which is providing us all the utilities to interpolate colors and build the path. And we use the view box in order to have a coordinate system that works well for us, and the conversions from the Canva to the Cartesian coordinate system via Redash. So I hope you guys enjoyed this example. I'm looking forward to talk to you soon. And in the meantime, happy hacking.